All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are diving headfirst into the whirlwind of speculation surrounding Elon Musk and his latest and greatest, the Tesla Cybercab.
This is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah, because let's be real, the man knows how to put on a show, and this whole Cybercab reveal was pure Elon Musk spectacle.
It was quite the show.
Right. No steering wheel, no pedals, just sleek, futuristic design and the bold promise of fully autonomous driving on our roads by 2027.
Yeah, 2027, that's the dream. But while Musk is busy painting this picture of the future, it's interesting to remember that companies like Waymo are already out there, quietly putting in the work, giving people rides in self-driving taxis right now in some U.S. cities.
It's true, they are. And that kind of highlights this fascinating gap we see time and time again between what Musk says Tesla will achieve and what's actually happening on the ground at this moment.
And it's a pattern that we see over and over again. It's like he's always one step ahead, dangling this really enticing promise in front of us,
Yeah.
Keeps us hooked, even when the present reality doesn't quite measure up.
Yeah.
And, there's this expert, Jack Stilgo, over at UCL, who argues that this is a key part of Tesla's strategy, keeping everyone focused on the promise of what's coming, rather than the reality of what's here.
I mean, you could say that about a lot of companies, right? Always be selling the future. But the perfect example of this with Tesla has to be their full self-driving system. I mean, it's right there in the name, but it hasn't quite lived up to it yet, has it?
Well, the name might say full self-driving, but the reality is, well, a little different. Musk has consistently promised the full rollout of this technology, and he's been saying it'll be ready this year, every year since 2014.
And here we are.
Yeah, and here we are in 2024. And what's the new timeline? Late 2025.
So should we all just set a recurring calendar reminder?
For Tesla, full self-driving, coming soon.
Exactly. Every year.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, okay, let's get serious for a second. This Cybercab, it's not just the timeline that's raising eyebrows. It's the tech itself. I mean, no steering wheel, no pedals. That's straight out of a science fiction movie.
It's definitely a bold move, and it really signals a radical departure from what we're seeing from most companies developing autonomous vehicles.
Right, because this whole camera and AI-only approach,
Yeah.
they're ditching the LiDAR that companies like Waymo and Cruise use. That's a huge gamble, wouldn't you say?
It's a gamble for sure. And LiDAR is important to understand here. It's essentially a system that uses lasers to create a very detailed map of the car's surroundings, kind of like giving the car a way to see its environment.
Right.
Many experts are skeptical, and I think rightfully so, about whether a camera-only system can ever be safe enough for fully autonomous driving.
It makes sense. Cameras, they can be fooled, right? Especially in, like, bad weather.
Yeah.
And speaking of other companies, wasn't there an issue with Cruise, GM's self-driving company, something about a similar design?
You're remembering correctly. Cruise actually had to scrap their design for a steering wheel-free car because they couldn't get it past regulatory hurdles. They hit a wall, so to speak.
Yeah, and that brings us to the other big flashing red light for the Cybercab, regulations. It's not just about the technology working in a perfect world, is it?
Nope. It's about navigating the real-world rules of the road, which are complex and constantly evolving. Regulators are, understandably, being very cautious about self-driving cars, especially one that looks like it belongs on a movie set.
Totally. And that unusual design. Yeah, that could be a big red flag for regulators. It's a completely different approach to what a company like Waymo is doing, right?
Yeah, their approach is a bit more, shall we say, traditional. Waymo's using modified Jaguar's conventional cars that everyone's familiar with, equipped with their LiDAR technology. So basically, they're taking a known entity and adapting it, which naturally makes for a much smoother path to regulatory approval.
And it still hasn't been easy for them. Even with Google's resources behind them, Waymo is still limited to just a handful of cities. It really highlights how challenging widespread adoption of this technology is going to be. So let's be real for a second. Is this Cybercab vaporware a publicity stunt to generate excitement and headlines? Or does Elon Musk actually have some secret master plan up his sleeve that we're all missing?
It's definitely a question that's on a lot of people's minds.
Mhm.
And I think it's certainly possible that Musk has a longer-term vision here, maybe something that we're not seeing yet. But right now, when you look at the evidence, it does seem like Tesla is much more focused on generating buzz than delivering on promises.
And hey, it works.
And let's not forget the big reveal for the Cybercab. It wasn't at a tech conference, wasn't even at Tesla headquarters. It was on a movie studio lot.
It's true. He really does love that showmanship, doesn't he? It does make you wonder, though, in a world obsessed with instant gratification and dominated by these short news cycles, does this promise-heavy delivery light approach, does it actually work?
It's a really good question. Maybe the hype is enough to keep people engaged and excited about the future.
It's certainly something to think about. All right, everyone, that's it for today's deep dive on Elon Musk's Cybercab. Let us know what you think. Is Tesla onto something big here, or are they just driving in circles?
Let us know your thoughts.
Until next time.